Hey everyone, Temporal here, and today we're going to be reviewing an off-tank player, primarily Zarya, I believe. If any of you are enjoying the content, do feel free to like and subscribe, or if you're looking for lessons yourself, you can join the Discord and see my rates. With that, let's get on with the video. And we are starting with the attack because I've been asked to do so there, and I generally comply when clients ask for things. Generally.
4,
Hey.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Escort
Take a
the
quick look at
payload.
our comp. We are running Zarya Hog, a little dicey. They're running Hagarissa, a little better. They're super poke heavy though, so we should just, or they're super, explosives heavy. We should just have lots of energy to rip them apart with. Full energy bubble, nice. Don't need to push him, he's gone. Okay, this is done. Just go for right click. Don't get booped off. Okay, so you did potentially want to find an ally to get a bubble on there because the fight was clearly over and you're going to reset. And just to sort of maintain energy, you got 40 off yours, which was good. But as your team was backing up there, you probably did want to just go out, turn. Now it's too late, but turn, throw a bubble on one of them, even as they're backing up. You're not going to get max energy off of it, but your Roadhog is still here, still in spawn, etc. You're going to have time to get team bubble back before your team is actually ready to do anything, I'd expect. So a little bit there wouldn't have hurt. This is too far out in the open. You do get more aggressive when you have bubble up, and that's fine to get more aggressive, take better, more aggressive positioning when you have bubble up, but this is really too aggressive. Like, you're too far from your cover options. Competent enemies can do 400 damage to you, or 600 damage to you even, before you can get back to cover from here. So you need to respect that just a little bit more. I do like that you went down to, 250 or so health before you bubbled there. That was good. They were already taking shots at you.
Allow me to repair the damage. We need to get the
Bubble.
payload moving.
Yeah. So if you look at your diva, she's already taking damage. That's fine. She would have dropped if you'd given her a bubble, but that's fine. You can wait till she drops.
Your best show. This will restore you.
Let's watch this again.
Allow me to repair the damage. We need to get the payload moving.
Yeah, so that's a long rotation to close the angle, and that's sort of what I'm talking about because you don't have bubble up.
Your best show. This will restore you. Go.
Yeah, so I don't love that yet because, I mean, she's in danger, but the danger hasn't actually come yet is sort of the thing. So maybe she takes a right click from Hog, maybe she takes a couple shots from Orisa. I don't particularly love this, unless you're wanting her bubbled because you specifically want to use her as a shield, which that's a little more reasonable. I'd have preferred to see that hook come out rather than do this. Now I think you keep her vulnerable to the hook. No, there's still a Hog behind you. Why are you looking at the wall? Like, I get it. You can go, hey, I want to close this angle on the Orisa, but even if you're reloading, there's no reason not to look at this Hog. Plus, this Hog is this juicy, juicy Discord. Yeah, he's whole hogging, but this, or not whole hogging, breathing, but this juicy, juicy Discord. Pushing this Orisa, that was great until that shield was there and you went, that was too far, but then you wanted to turn and work on this Hog. Even if you're reloading, you should be looking at the Hog, not looking at the wall. I want to see that bubble again.
This will restore you.
Don't love that one. We'll talk about that. That's fine. And staying on her is right because if shield doesn't come up even through fortify, you'll get her. But now you should swap. There's a Hog, and you know there's a Hog, and you know that it's safe to use this remaining 39 ammo potentially on this Hog here. You should at least check to see is this Hog close enough for you to zap, because turns out they're discorded too, which makes them even more juicy. And you get to close the angle on this Orisa while you do that. Yeah, you could have been shooting at that Hog rather than reloading from 39 ammo there. And if you'd been doing that, there'd be no question that you could finish this hog here. Yeah, that's right. You can vary your sides a bit here. Don't make it easy for them to predict where you're going to be. That was fine.
That's more like it.
Let's watch the reload though. We might be having reload issues. Do you have the bad habit of as soon as you've got the elimination reloading? Or was that real? Okay, so that was necessary. Good.
That's more like it. Get into position.
Okay. Yeah, that's a fine bubble. She's in heat there.
I am injured.
That bubble wasn't actually necessary. That ball wasn't fireballing, and no one else was visible to you except the Pharaoh who's blocked out from you. So if you look back at that bubble, I mean, you can see it. The ball wasn't fireballing. The person in front of you was behind their cover already. That bubble didn't do anything. Keep her surrounded. Keep her surrounded. Okay, fine.
Rocket barrage incoming. Activated.
Just generally, like, it's almost always going to be worth bubbling a Pharaoh when she does this. Almost always, because they have to stop her. Her damage is just too extreme. They have to shoot at her. So I just look up and do that.
Don't hold back. Down. Escorting the payload. Move back. Bob's not ready.
Because if it doesn't, she's going to win the fight for you generally. So it becomes a... Yeah, this... Where's this play? They don't have to shoot at her now. Finish him. You know his hit. Not there. Exactly. You're not going to be able to. I mean, you have 34 energy. You're not going to be able to get the Valking Mercy. Instead, go after the Discord target. So if we look back at this.
Escorting the payload. Move back. Bob's not ready. Barrier is on you.
Okay. So there's a Valking Mercy, and you have 40 energy. It's possible, but that Discord looks more juicy to me. The instant I saw, oh, there's a Discorded Junkrat, I'm probably going for that instead. You can get the elimination on that through the Mercy healing it, whereas getting the Mercy when she can just fly up if you put pressure on her, that's going to be rough. You kind of bubbled after you already behind the... Like, let's look at your bubble. That matters.
Bob's not ready. Barrier is on you.
So, again, that Junkrat's free. Discorded, you can be on him for an instant and it'll melt, even with the Mercy healing. And then here is where I think you're going to bubble once you're behind the cart. So the threatening damage to you is this Junkrat. There's a nade on your screen. If you bubbled now, I'd accept it.
Ready for battle.
That nade didn't hit you, and you do kind of bubble as you're drifting behind this thing here. So if you're bubbling, you probably wanted to go forward and try to finish applying pressure, right? You want to go, oh, it's not the Junkrat anymore, now it's the Moira. Well, you're not going to get the Moira, but maybe you'll force out her fade and make her leave, or maybe you stay on the Junkrat. But not the Mercy in this case, unless the Discord's on her, and even then, that's a little rough. And if you popped this bubble, well, you can push forward for, a second, half the bubble, etc., to be trying to do more damage here, etc. You aren't in a situation where it's overtime and you have to worry about, keep touching the cart, staying alive as long as possible. Like staying alive is generally good, but it's okay for you to use this bubble a bit more aggressively. Like you're bubbled, you're at full health, you're backing away, don't need to be doing that.
Clearing the area. That tickles.
And then your reload was late. If you were going to use that to reload, you wanted to reload while you were behind cover.
Swiftly.
Okay.
My ultimate is
Okay, it got energy, so I won't complain about it. I think Diva could have eaten those instead, but yeah, so you should just win this with ground.
Огонь по готовности.
Okay. Definitely had a window to bubble your Diva there. Let's take a look. It was tight, and you don't want to accidentally bubble a mech that's already been destroyed. You got your max energy. You can just melt this fight. You have your max energy and you have personal bubble. Like, yes, you're down to 200 HP, but you can pick someone and just melt them.
Move the payload.
Moira was the only one shooting at you. Not worth
Огонь
it.
по готовности.
There's no like Diva here or anything that's going to eat your grab, so I'm not quite sure why you grabbed to pull tanks forward like this rather than hitting the grab over here. Like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Moira's going to fade out. Yeah, she's going to do that anyways. I'm not sure why you stuck it on the cart rather than just sticking on the ground here. There's nothing you're worried about canceling your grab. There's no grasp from a Sigma, no defense matrix, no deflect. This would have been perfectly fine to throw here. And would have, been more threatening to more squishing. Just keep puking out the damage. Yeah, you definitely had a window to save this Diva. And if you save her even a moment, that potentially means she gets Matrix up and then potentially, causes the elimination to happen on both her mech and the Pharaoh, which is going to be an upgrade. Okay, you're reloading. What? You were at 0 ammo and it wasn't automatically reloading for you for a bit there. That was weird. Must have had a fraction of a shot.
Maximum charge.
My ultimate is almost ready.
Don't get pooped with 80 energy.
Charge. This will heal you.
I don't think your team's with you. Okay, there's your Reinhardt. There's your Zen. You want to be pushing a bit. You have energy. You want to use your high energiness to drive them back. That's fine.
Surrender to my will.
Okay. You don't have personal and you won't for a while, so you got to be aware of your cover. Probably pushing this more aggressively than you need to. It's kind of unfortunate that you're anything back here. You'd like him to be ahead of you for this since you don't have personal, but we deal with the hand we're dealt, not the one we want. It's fine. If he's behind you, you move on. You zap one of these guys. Specifically, you'd zap... the Moira's fine to force her to leave. Either one of them's fine. You have more than enough energy to take the Junkrat down through the Moira healing, but going for the Moira first is fine. Go. Immediately go to the Junkrat. Should be easy. Yeah, nothing wild here.
I will lead us to victory.
Okay. You don't know who's behind you. Generally, if you're fighting a Winston like that, you want to immediately sort of shift to the side or walk behind him and do that so that he has to pick between zapping you and zapping the rest of your team. There's no one behind him that's really threatening to you, so you want to walk through him so that his zaps on you aren't also getting zaps on your more frail Moira or Zen behind you. And that's over. So let's go back and watch the other direction on this attack. There's definitely some bubble stuff we could talk about. There's definitely some aggression window stuff we could talk about, but I want to see more.
Attackers incoming in 30
It's not my
seconds.
preference to see to matters personally, but I will see them done.
Five, four, three, two, one. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Get into position. Zarya activated.
So let's take a look at you. Were you really in any need to use that barrier yet? I don't think you put enough pressure on them yet to get it.
One. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
So right clicks are good. It's fine, you're still at 390. You're gonna push back to Winston. You're not really getting value there, you're down to
Zarya
57.
activated.
You're still at 400 health, man. Like, you don't need to do this, and this is defense matrix in your face. This isn't micro missiles. If you saw micro missiles, yeah, pop that bubble and get some of them. But this is just defense matrix in your face, and the Winston has left, so he won't be in anytime soon. So maybe, you know, the Pharaoh will shoot at you, but she's not aiming at you. She's not actively shooting at you right now. So maybe the Anna, no, she's way more likely to be healing up her Winston. So this bubble is sort of like destined to not get any energy. You should just be zapping Zarya, right? Or you should just be zapping Diva right now with your 23 ammo.
Don't be shy.
Were you worried about the sleep there? Okay, I mean, this Reaper isn't really close enough to do work with his bubble yet. You don't bubble him to help him get in, you bubble him once he's in to let him stay in longer, if that makes sense. But that might have been because you saw sleep on him. And again, like, this is the moment when that Diva started micro-missiling like that. That was what you wanted to react to and go, no, I'm stepping in front of my Rhine and I'm personal bubbling this, or I'm, or if I have to, I'm projected bubbling my Rhine because I would rather he drop his shield and take these on the bubble rather than on his shield, etc. And, you know, she'll turn away. You won't get all of the micro missiles, but micro missiles mean rather than there's general spam coming your direction, there's something with a purpose that you're sort of blocking with your bubble. And micro missiles can be acceptable. It's not amazing. It's not as good as some abilities to rock with your bubble, but it's acceptable. Yeah, you're just really struggling on getting energy this match because you've timed things wrong.
Zarya is on you. Go.
That Rhine is swinging, so I'll accept this. I'm good with that projected bubble. I don't think this personal bubble is necessary. Like, this personal bubble, your Moira's right here can heal you, your Zen's right here and can heal you. I don't think this personal bubble that you used is meaningful. They're not in it, etc. So I think you're not going to get much from this personal bubble, but your projected bubble is going to get some real value.
Don't hold back.
Like, you weren't in any real danger there. I know you went down to half health, but you had both your supports right there. And he didn't have follow-up.
Allow me to repair the damage.
Okay, and you have personal bubble, so you can push this a little more aggressively. You can burn down this Diva and then push up for the Anna to make sure not to get boomed. You don't need to be backing up. You don't. You don't.
Barrier is on you. Get into position. Bring it.
Okay, I mean, you're low health. You better soak that nade. There you go. Looks like you're watching your Reinhardt a little too closely there. Like, oh, I want him to swing. I want him to swing. You'll be able to flick to him pretty easily if he swings. Your bubble thing is pretty forgiving, even if you've turned it down, unless you've turned down to microscopic. So instead, be tracking the thing you want to shoot at, which in this case would have been the ball. Okay.
Zed sequels.
Routing towards forward barrier.
No. It's just shots at you, and it's just ball shots at you. Like Ball doesn't have. I mean, Ball has a decent sized clip at 80, but it's not super high damage. If you were in more danger, you potentially could have. Like if you were losing a duel to a Ball, the duel had gotten a good lead on you. You know, it swung through you and then pile drove, and now was shooting at you. You could potentially bubble yourself as he was pile driving, or bubble yourself in the air as he wants to follow you down with his full clip there to fight. But you don't need to bubble just a Ball shooting at you. You won't have it for something more serious, which like this Junkrat nade or like a fair rocket that you see is going to hit you, etc.
Experience tranquility.
Good. Don't use it yet. Don't use it. Now you could bubble. You see a junk mine.
Get in there.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Do not be discouraged. Everyone begins in ignorance.
Your best shot.
Okay. So let's look at this because it probably is going to feel like a good bubble, but I don't necessarily know that I agree. Let's take a look.
Everyone begins in ignorance.
Is there like a volley that you see that's coming at you? Did you hear anything happen?
Hit me with your
No.
best
So
shot.
there's nothing real yet. Like you're the only thing that they can see, but you're still at 400 health, and all that you're potentially taking here is real spam. When you want to use your bubble, ideally you're shooting at them so they can't ignore you. They have to shoot back at you, and then once they've done a little damage to you, they want to continue shooting at you. That's generally when you're going to use your personal bubble, or when you see an ability that means that they're going to be stuck shooting at you for a bit, like a micro missiles, just as an example. You see TNT get thrown at you, that kind of thing. So
Is that all
you got some decent energy off of that one. It was early though. Could have looked for that ball a little.
barrier is on you?
Touch early. It is. He's having to. He's using that bubble to close space. He wasn't really swinging yet, but that's fine.
Maximum charge.
And now he's purple. Yeah. That's kind of on you. You better be ready to protect us. Ooh. Okay. That's fine. So, I don't love this because he knew he was going to have to shield in this direction, and I actually would have preferred that you protected him, that you had been out here and you had been like, no, I'm going to body block for him, and I'm ready to bubble to body block for him. They don't have it, but that's the type of play where you'll see a ball comes through and boops him when he thought he was going to save, or a brig shows up and bashes him, etc. Not available to them specifically, but that's a common enough combo play that you should have been ready to, that I at least hope you were thinking about being ready to protect that. Okay, you can just grab this.
Promising, but not good enough.
You wouldn't have great follow-up if you went off of it. Yeah, now you're going to have to... Now, find bubble, find bubble. He was already taking damage. Yeah, that's fine. You personal bubbled the mine. You were personal bubbling to protect your Moira. Good.
Barrier is on you. Go.
No, no. No need for that one.
Not ready.
We don't want to sit on this grab forever. We do want to be cycling our own. I mean, it'll work. You'll get the limb. Okay.
Hit me.
Yeah, no. I like that more than I thought I did. You were getting the limb and he'd already used mines, so you're going, no, I don't want them to have a good fight on us. Yeah, that was a good one. Again, you're at 400 health, man. And they're shooting at Ryan, not you. You move in a little to absorb some of the damage for Ryan, and that's good, but I still think that's early. Bubble immediately. Yeah.
shot.
No. No need for this bubble.
30 seconds remaining.
Ready for battle. My ultimate is charging. This will heal you.
10 seconds remaining.
That's fine. Ursa was actively shooting at him and it was in swing.
Get in there. Never. This will restore you.
I know you didn't have personal, but I want to see what exactly you're doing. Mindless Junkrat spam?
Get in there.
Or is this you pop it because you're not sure where McCree is? You think it's your call?
Maximum charge.
Not sure what this is. You popped your personal bubble while you're in a Zenyatta Transcendence? You're almost immortal in here. Like don't do that.
Never.
And you could have easily pushed this Junkrat if you'd still had personal. Easily.
This will restore you.
In fact, that Junkrat shouldn't have gone away to use tire here. Yeah, that shouldn't have happened. Yikes. Okay.
Surrender to my will. On fire. You'll be wise to stay out of my sight. My will is unbroken.
Okay, so this is a pretty easy one. The thing that you need to be working on is definitely bubble usage and specifically your personal bubble usage. So I don't want you to be nearly as willing to use bubble as you are when you still have 400 HP. That's too much. You want to use bubble when people are already shooting at you most of the time, unless your personal bubble is specifically being used to peel for someone else, in which case they're already shooting at them and you move in the way in personal bubble, etc. So you want to use personal bubble when people are already shooting at you, and you want to do it when you can be pretty darn sure you're going to take some of the damage. Like, hey, they're already shooting you, so when you press personal bubble, aha, 3 people were already shooting at you. They're not all going to be able to stop immediately. You're going to get something. Or, aha, I can see the Junkrat mine. So since I see the Junkrat mine, the personal bubble is going to work. Or I can see the Fair Rocket. I can see that one of those is literally going to hit me. So it's easy for me to absorb that type thing. Or what we saw specifically in this match is, okay, I'm going to wait until the diva starts micro-missiling, and then I'm going to personal bubble, and that's going to, she'll turn away eventually because she doesn't want to give me that, but some of those are already in the air, some of those are projectiles, she's shooting at the same time, the rest of her team is shooting too because she's using it in the poke phase like that, and you're going to get, maybe you won't get 40 energy, but you'll get 32 energy, 35 energy, enough for it to have been worth it, etc., etc. And the way you do that, the way you get enemies to not just ignore you, is you go, okay, I have my personal bubble available, so I'm willing to walk a few steps in front of my Reinhardt, and I'm willing to burn, to zap this diva a little bit. I'm willing to go, is there a diva on the other team right now? There's not, so I can't point at them. I'm willing to go, okay, let me just burn this diva a little bit, even with my low energy beam, and eventually she's going to get uncomfortable, or her team's going to get uncomfortable, and they're going to feel the need to start shooting at me if I just burn her with my beam, etc. So that's what you're doing. Like Zarya is a snowbally, self-feeding character where you don't do much, but you start doing a little with your not much, which forces them to shoot at you, which gets you the bubble, which lets you do more, which you leave, and then you come back, and then you're a high energy bar Zarya who has bubble available, which lets you do more damage, which they have to shoot at faster, which lets you bubble, which gets more, and all that good stuff. So your team bubbles were better, but your personal bubbles, you're using this way too freely when you think you should be taking damage, not when you're actually taking damage, or not in response to I see a cooldown or I see a projectile or something like that. That yes, it's almost a metaphysical certainty that I'm going to take damage. And the easiest indicator is either I see the projectile coming through the air, I see the CD, or I'm in the line of fire and I've already taken 150, 200 damage, etc. Yeah, let's go ahead and bubble to protect this, etc. So I hope that helps. If you have more questions, you can certainly reach out to me. You know the drill. We've been doing this a couple times now. For anyone else, if you're looking for coaching, you can join my Discord in the description to get coaching, and that's great. Rates are posted. Or if you're just enjoying the educational content, do feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks. Temporal out.